All right, guys, we're excited for a few reasons today. Number one, it's deads, and we're running a very fun format of deads that I have never run or seen anybody run, period, into this offseason. I'm excited to catch you guys up from the meet until now if you don't follow me on Instagram. But number two, we're going to be starting this super raw, bare bones series that I'm going to be editing myself and doing consistently in the only way that I know how or think that I actually could. Whatever, I was on FaceTime with my brother, Kev, who happens to be good friends with Mr. Solik Men, and we were talking about content, whatever. He's like, you gotta hop on the content thing, dude. I was like, I can't, I'm a powerlifter. Like, your goal when you go in to set up a camera is to get good stimulus, right? Just straight up get a good pump, and that's great. It doesn't mean there's not detracting from anything bodybuilders do or anything, but as a powerlifter, you go in and you have to do something like really well. You have a goal, right? I have to lift this well. If things aren't going well, I smack the camera out of the way. I'm like, what am I doing? Worried about exposure, aperture, stupid ISO, you know, things like that. And he was like, you know what, why don't you just do it really raw? Why don't you just take raw clips right before you go to the gym or in the car or whatever, film each of your things, do a voiceover afterwards so I don't even have to talk to the camera, and then give your thoughts on the session in the car. And I was like, you know what, I don't know if that's sustainable, but I'm at least gonna try. So here is to us trying. We're eating our little pre-workout meal. It's like half a cup or 1 cup of jasmine rice with 4 ounces of ground turkey with some spinach, onion. I've gotten pretty good with the cooking as of recent, but here's what's up. So as you guys know, if you've been on this channel for a long time, if you haven't at all or followed me on Instagram, my goal since I started powerlifting is to take Kaylor Woolam's junior world record in the deadlift, which is 948. If there's anything that I ever had a shot at becoming #1 at an open powerlifting, it's the deadlift. I'm not a squatter like that. I'm never going to bench 600 pounds. It's not going to happen. But on the deadlift, I have a legitimate shot. We just aged out of juniors on Sunday. I'm 24 now. Very weird. Feel like a unk. But we had until the day we turned 24 to get that done. We did not. We maybe 2-3 years ago pulled 816 at the American Pro 1 and then stagnated in those low 8s, whether it was injuries, there was a lot of stuff going on, but whatever it was, for whatever reason, we stuck in those low 8s up until this last meet, which was the last YouTube video we did, where we broke that threshold finally, pulled 870, which was awesome. But a week later, me and Rondell were like, let's go do the YOLO thing, you know, it's like, let's see what's up. And I ended up pulling 905 actually, 400 kilos, and then jumped straight up to 9. And it was the coolest thing I think I've ever done in my entire life. Took a trip to New York, was gonna go with Rondell to Houston. We split for the weekend and then came back because we had a seminar the following weekend. And right after that seminar, I ended up pulling 916 for almost 2. Thankfully, the cool thing about that junior record being 948 is that the open men's record is only like 6-7 pounds above it, or 957, 956, whatever it was. Kaylor took a 953. Christoph, Mr. Deadlift, right, Wazirbicky, whatever it is, chipped it with like 955 or 956. So now the goal doesn't change much. It's like 9 pounds up from 948. And we seem to be closing in on it. Of course, you know, you never know when you're going to stagnate or whatever, but we're feeling good. We're feeling healthy. And we're able to push in a very cool format that I've never done before. And it feels really, really sweet. So what we're going to be going in to do today is a set of 6 on the squat bar hook, which we can't be explosive on. The fact that it's thick, like super, super thick, not like a power bar at all. Like the discrepancy between a deadlift bar thickness and a power bar thickness doesn't do much to my hook, or the fact that it doesn't put me on my toes, doesn't do anything. It's really just the fact that it's stiff that forces me to have a slightly higher hip height. But on this squat bar, this thing is so thick and I have to focus so much on my grip. I can't be explosive with it. It inherently puts me on my toes. I am off my center of mass. Even if that bar is just up on the shins, it doesn't matter. So we're gonna have a really fun time with that. And then we go 100 pounds up for a fatigue single, back downs for 8s, this and that. Who is ruining this clip right now? Kevin. I am filming for YouTube. I will call you back. You can say hi.
Oh, hello.
Bye-bye. I'll call you in a bit. Drive safe. I'll call you in a bit. Okay, bye-bye. But I shouldn't even get into that too much because we are going to do the voiceover for the entire thing. So I'm going to crush this. We're going to get to this new gym that I've been at that, like, I have been dying for something like this in Chicago. Waylon and the guys at 5W that I prepped out of that last gym for, any of the YouTube videos or Instagram you saw, was a godsend. It was perfect. They were private. They were quiet. Yes, there was some Gen Pop stuff going on in there, but it was private and it had everything I needed for the most part, or I could jerry-rig anything I needed. But that seminar that me and Rondell did was for the opening of their gym. So they are now open and have people in there that would have me waiting for things. I absolutely can't do it. Found this spot just last week, and I could not be more excited to show you guys because it is, oh, dude, it's so sick. All right, so I'm gonna crush this, and I'll see you guys there. And we kick off our squat bar deadlifts. There's a hole in my sock. I pull that over my toe because that's gross. I need new socks. Try to find like that sweet spot on the platform. It's a new gym, right? So I don't really know what's up with the platforms rolling. I'm like, geez, I hope that's not going to be a major issue. But we find our spot on the back of the platform and get going with our like normal warm-up stuff. A stiff-legged deadlift, maybe a conventional deadlift. If I feel super asymmetrical, maybe like a Pendlay row. But hopefully I work out all of that asymmetry and kind of weirdness from sleeping and just, whatever it is, just daily stuff before I actually get to the bar. And when we are talking about these squat bar deads, man, there's a reason why we're going 1 red, 2 red, 3 red, 4 red, where for the most part I don't get too much out of that progression anymore, usually like 2, 4, and then 5. But on this squat bar, we do not play. It is a totally different game. It is so much significantly harder than a kabuki bar deadlift, a Texas bar deadlift, a stiff bar deadlift, for a bunch of reasons. Number one, a major challenge on the grip, like legit, which I'm not used to feeling. I have relatively bigger hands. The hook is never an issue for me. But on this, I have to be like actively squeezing past a few reds, which is crazy for me, especially on sets of 6 and 8 and stuff like that. It's a very fun challenge and stops me from being explosive. But also, how thick this bar is means that it's even if it's up against my shins, it's so thick that the center of mass of the bar is displaced off of my midline. So it dumps me onto my toes. I have a very high hip position. It's almost like a stiff-legged deadlift. I'm having a ton of fun with these. We get to our last warm-up here at these 4 reds. And then finally we will toss our belt on for this. We turn on the best song of all time for rep work, which is Freebird, especially for something like this that honestly, regardless, when I did it week 1 at 4 reds, it felt almost just as hard as this 630. It just sucks to decide to do this next rep here. But let's take a look. I actually haven't seen it yet. So you guys see that last little bit there, that full exhale? It's something I started doing. I was so happy about it. I gained like an extra inch or 2 out of arm length there. That first rep doesn't look that bad. I'm telling you, all of these, none of these feel snappy or explosive. I'm really waiting for this thing to start moving for me to like continue its movement, if that makes sense, instead of almost forcing it to move. I'm just like, apply tension, all right, go. But you can see, even at that rep 3, 4, whatever it is, it's actually difficult, dude. Like it was not that easy for me. So, since we started these week 1, I said, I have no idea where the other shoe would drop. And that's still true. I have no idea if 300 kilos for next week is going to be where my hook stops or if 700 the next week, or, we have no idea, and we don't really know what we're going to be able to progress to. But 300 keys, this is me just showing that 0.25, because technically it would be, I guess 628 or maybe 629 with this squat bar. It's a little weird, but I just wanted that flat 630, so we grabbed that little baby chip. And you guys see, we have to unload this entire bar, and this is probably the most tedious part about this format, which isn't fun, especially when, after the set, when you feel like you have 2 steel beams running up your back. Unloading all these plates just to reload them on the kabuki. And we take the exact same weight for 1 single here. It felt weird, man. I was on my heels. I was not the biggest fan of this. And then we jump straight up to our fatigue single, 100 pounds up, at 728. And like I said, I'm probably going to look at this and be just fine with it, but it did not feel good. Which is to be expected, I guess, right? These things are getting harder and heavier, and the initial set's getting harder and heavier, so this wouldn't feel that good. But the past few weeks, it has felt effortless, so whatever the reason may be, maybe just an off session, maybe not, but we'll see how things progress next week, and maybe we'll get a better idea of the trend. Back downs here, 530 for 4. I think we still have our belt on here. I'd imagine we still have our belt on here. And yeah, at this point, the thumbs start to get a little raw, dude. Like I'm not used to
hook being an issue or anything like that. But after that big squat bar set and the kabuki bar knurling on the thumb, it's like, dang, that actually starts to get pretty raw here. We have 2 sets. We have a 2x4 with 530. It's, these back downs are super, super light. Because I don't have a secondary day, right? It's almost just cheating a bunch of volume in there after 2 like very legitimately difficult sets, where even if they are submaximal, they feel at least like a pretty aggressive expression of strength on that squat bar, just because of how stiff-legged it is and raw. Back down 2x5 for our final deads here. We finally throw on the straps, which I don't really like doing, to be honest, period. But we need to save our thumbs. There's no reason to not throw on straps if we're not going to be able to pull next week. That would be foolish. Let's see, we finish this up here. Kind of just yoinking here, to be honest. Like, it doesn't feel specific at all. It feels like I don't know. It's strapped deadlifting. I have not done it in so long. Now, to our first accessory, these modified Jaffe extensions, which I guess we haven't talked about on YouTube. We've talked about on Instagram here, but the only reason that these ever came in the program was to remedy the fact that I could not do back downs while I had the broken ribs and the residual nerve damage. While I was still dealing with that, I couldn't actually tolerate more than 1 set a week. So we put these in to just practice the wedge, because I was used to such a high volume and such a high frequency that I had such an aggressively dialed in pull that taking all that volume away had my wedge point all over the place. It served its purpose then, and we thought we were going to take it out, but just because things are going well, even now that I can't hit the back downs, we've kept it in, because that's the golden rule, is if it's working, just do it, regardless of what you think. So we kept that in here and moved on to this sketchy-ass Zercher 45-degree back extension. I did not realize how much it was coming up. I guess that the words are kind of... whatever, you can definitely still see it. Dude, when I was like actually throwing force into my heels and like going up, it felt like, I can't even explain, it's so much power lost in the transfer of that coming up a little bit as I'm applying force into it is honestly kind of scary, but whatever. We got that done and moved on to the Nordics here, which is a super tedious setup, to be honest. I don't know why. Well, I guess I do know why. It's a greater range of motion, it's all good, but I don't think I'd be able to capitalize on that very much, to be honest. So we got all these like mats. It's not 20 mats there. It's like 2 big chunks of mats and then like 3 foam pads on top of it, just to level that out. And we use a red band just to improve the quality of the reps, right? Whether I could get maybe 4 or 5 good Nordics, not even good Nordics, just like spastic throwing, just I don't like the whole idea of, oh, it's raw though, so it's better. It's like, no, if I can throw on a very slight amount of resistance and improve the isolation to the hamstrings and just the overall execution of the exercise, I'm gonna do it, especially if I can make that last over 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. I think that's a far better stimulus, because that's the goal here at the end of the day. These are in for knee health and things like that. I like throwing things like this in after singles or after a meet or anything like that, where I feel like a big, clunky, unathletic piece of garbage. Things like this help me feel athletic again and actually gain some more kinesthetic awareness over my body. I feel good. And finally, we move into these reverse GHD planks, where I cheated myself so bad, man. I was actually pretty upset about it when I'm now looking at this. If you guys look, right, normally when I have this dumbbell over I guess this angle kind of hides it a little bit, but not really. Now you can definitely tell it actually increased. Where that dumbbell is actually sitting is like probably right over the bottom of my rib cage. I should have that straight up over my neck. There is no point in using 90 pounds when I could use 40 or 50 pounds and just put it directly over my neck. I've done 100 pounds directly over the neck, but I cheated it here. So that is what it is, and we wrap up the workout, leave myself in the car.
All right, what you guys just watched me do is re-park, because I just tried to do this without a mount, like to keep you guys right there driving home. Absolute disaster, almost broke the camera. Gonna need a mount. So we're gonna do this parked before we actually get on our way. We have like a 25-minute drive ahead of us, and I'm gonna go with some buddies to go celebrate my birthday. Nothing crazy, little dinner. But thoughts on the session overall? Not good, not bad, man, to be honest. I mean, not, well, like we've said this entire time with this squat bar experiment, as awesome as it is, we don't know where the other shoe's going to drop, and today got difficult. Not only did we not feel poppy and snappy throughout the entirety of the day, and I can't, like we said, be explosive with the squat bar, period, but just damn, like by rep 3 or 4 with like no weight, it's like 630, you know what I mean? something I could probably do for like, give me straps even on the squat bar and like ping, ping, ping. It's just, you can't be explosive with this stuff, and you have to really squeeze the thumbs. And when you squeeze the thumbs, you squeeze the forearms, you squeeze the arms, you squeeze the upper back, and it becomes just a very raw power movement instead of this very nice loosey-goosey, far chest height away from the bar, really nice positional pull. But that being said, I can't be too upset, right? Like, the only reason that I would say not good, not bad is that 727 afterwards, that fatigued single, was not snappy. Again, I'm sure I'll look back at the footage and I'm sure it moved great, but just in my head, you know, the way that it is right now, I'm sure I'll be happy with it later. The past few weeks have just felt effortless, going that 100 pounds up directly after that set, and it didn't happen today. It did not feel good at all. I'm sure it moved, like I said, but it just didn't feel the way that I would like it to feel. But I can't be surprised by that, right? It's a fatigued single as the set before it progresses, and the top set, like the fatigued single, weight progresses. I'm sure it'll be harder. Holistically, I'll have more fatigue going into that single, and that single will be heavier overall. So I guess I can't be too upset. The only thing is, this first week here, overall in that gym, you can see maybe the 45-degree back extension coming up in the back. That's scary as hell. I'm going to find a sandbag to throw something on that. And the Nordic setup is extremely tedious to set up with all of those pads that elevate it. But it doesn't actually matter, right? That's really just first week stuff in a new gym. By my third or fourth deadlift session and this stuff will be automatic. I'll know where everything is, and we'll be able to just really progress this stuff. In terms of camera stuff, this was probably the best it's gone so far, and I think it's just because of the nature of what we're trying to do here. I didn't film me coming out of the car, grabbing a bar, nothing. It's very raw. If I am not moving, the camera is not on, and at least to start right now, I think that's probably the only way that I'm going to be able to be consistent with this stuff. Obviously, I've not done the voiceover yet. You guys have to hear that at home. Hopefully, I can squeeze that in before dinner and get this, guys, to you like with the Instagram post. If not, it'll be tomorrow. But overall, not good day, not bad day. Week 2. This is week 2. We have 2 more weeks of this stuff. Damn, do we have 3 more? No, we have 2 more. All right, I was going to say, Jesus Christ. No, we have 2 more weeks of this stuff progressing on deads. I will see you guys tomorrow for some bench, and then Monday for some squats. This is going to be a daily thing, man. Let's see how this progresses. Thank you for watching.